Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, September 24th. And again, it's Mike and Michelle and Marie with another update for all of you. First of all, for all of you Bills fans, it's been an awesome start to the season, right? Two games where the offense looked great, the defense looked great. They have a tough one at home this weekend against the Rams, but let's keep our fingers crossed. I think that the Bills may be on the right track going forward. So, what I thought I would do today in my talk with you is share some information around a couple different topics. This morning, I was on a call with Monroe County, and I have all the latest COVID data around nursing homes that I wanted to share with each of you. I thought I'd give an update on what the last 6 months has been for our organization around COVID, maybe what we've learned, why we've been successful, and how we're going to be prepared for the next surge if and when it comes. And then the bricks, you heard me talk about the employee bricks that we're going to be giving out to some of you, so I'm going to give an update on that. Our centennial, we have our 100 years. We are in our 100 years, and I want to talk a little bit more about that. So just going back to the Monroe County statistics, what I've learned is there's been 21 nursing homes, this is all as of September 18th, that have been affected one way or another with COVID. Out of those 21 nursing homes, 680 residents, a total of 680 residents have been affected, and there have been, unfortunately, 205 deaths in the post-acute world with nursing home residents. On the assisted living side, there have been 12 facilities affected, 127 residents impacted, and 16 deaths. And then in independent living, there have been 11 facilities, 17 residents affected, and 5 deaths. So now if you can just remember what we've talked to you about around COVID here on our campus, where we're at as of today is we've had 4 residents affected, all at the Jewish home. 3 of them recovered and went home. 1 of them still lives with us. We've had, out of our 1,000 employees, 13 that have been infected. So each of you have done a great job and continue to do a great job over at the Wolk Manor and the Lodge at the Summit. We haven't had any residents, knock on wood, affected with the COVID virus, and just 1 staff member over on that side of the campus. So how did we get here? I mean, what happened? If you think back to March 12th, how do you prepare for the unexpected, right? I mean, because I don't think any of us anticipated the challenges that we'd be facing with what I hope is our first and only pandemic that we ever have to deal with in our lifetime. So how were we successful? I think there's been a number of different ways, and I'm going to talk about them in a second. But as I shared with our board the other day, I think the biggest reason that we've been successful in this organization is because of our culture. I think culture makes a difference. And what I mean by that is we have a culture, and all of you exhibit it every day in what you do, of compassion, of caring, doing the right thing for our residents and for each other, and honoring our elders. That's a culture that's been in existence for a very long time, for 100 years or more, and I think it's going to sustain us for the next 100, but I think it's been a big difference maker in terms of how all of you have been able to keep our residents safe and protected. So if you get a little granular, we things that we did to make sure that each one of you were protected. We got out in front of PPE very early, even before the governor shut us down. We were searching, actually, the world for things like masks, robes, gloves, all the stuff that we wanted to make sure that each one of you would have to feel safe and well and be able to take care of our residents. We wanted to make sure that each of you, while the grocery stores were shut down, had some supplies that you might need. So as you remember, we opened up a food pantry. On some days and some weeks, we had special gift baskets put together for you that, with some food you could take home to your families. Communication was critical. I mean, look what we're doing right now. We're communicating to each one of you via videotape. This is something we learned that has become probably our new norm and has been very effective. Previously, we did a lot of written communication. We tried to hold town hall meetings, and we'll still hold town hall meetings when we all get back together again. But what we've learned is many of you like these videotapes. You can watch them over again. We can share information that maybe we haven't been able to share previously via written communication. Communication with our families. We do regular conference calls with our families here at the Jewish Home and over at the Lodge and Book as well. I do written communication to the board members on a regular basis, sometimes weekly, sometimes more often. And then, Michelle and Susan are doing regular calls with family members whenever they need them. So communication was really key, I think, to our success so far. I think that having private rooms in every area of our campus, whether at the Jewish Home, at the cottages, at the Lodge, or Wook at the Summit, makes a big difference when you think about infection control and being able to keep people in their rooms, so we didn't have to cohort people together that potentially could have been affected, made a difference. The large common spaces we now have here on our campus where we can effectively social distance across our campus has made a difference. Technology too. We've always been a big proponent of technology that's going to help each one of you in your jobs, help our residents, whether it's via engagement or another way to help keep them safe. So we did a big investment in technology. You've seen it around our campus, whether it's via the screening tools that we have in place, the visits now that we can do virtually with our family members that many of you helped out with, and then our ReadyDoc system that is going to be deployed hopefully this week that will sanitize a lot of the small personal stuff. So, we're going to continue to invest in technology when we think it's going to make a difference for all of us. So these are just kind of the high-level overview of what I think has made a difference and what I think has helped prepare us for the next potential surge. We have over a 90-day inventory of PPE on site now. We have really solid infection control practices. Greg Lott leads that for us, along with Dr. Adelot and Marie and Michelle. They all work very close together to make sure our policies are tight and efficient and are the best for keeping our residents safe and keeping you safe as well. So just jumping ahead to the bricks, you heard me talk a few weeks ago about our bricks, the donor bricks that we have outside right now, and how we're now going to provide bricks free of charge to those employees that have been here over 25 years at Jewish Senior Life, and also the approximately 50 employees that were nominated for our Leon Rosen Award that we celebrated last month in September. All of you that are in those categories will be receiving some information, I think via either our foundation or human resources, where we're going to tell you, we're going to have your name put on a brick, we'll probably put your length of service, and also whatever award you were recognized for. And our plan is to put those bricks in the area that's located between Cottage 2 and Cottage 3, at the top of the stairs. If you're walking outside, you've probably seen this circular area near the stairs there with a bunch of bricks, and we're going to put many of your names in that brick area. So look forward to doing that. And then just lastly, it's just a good reminder for everyone, this is our 100 years. It only comes around once, right? 100 years. And about a month from now is when many of us would have been downtown at the convention center celebrating our 100-year gala. But the pandemic hit, And we've pivoted, and we're nimble and flexible, and we're doing other things. But we are still going to acknowledge and recognize and celebrate 100 years. So there will be some information coming out about that. It may come into the first quarter, via a number of different avenues. We're hoping that many of you are going to be part of that celebration and that recognition, but there will be more to come. In the meantime, I want to show you a short video. It's only 3 minutes of a centennial exhibit that our marketing team has put together. Jane and Julie and Roberta, along with others outside, have put together it's a wonderful traveling exhibit, and you'll get a chance to see it via this video here. Thank you.
Hello everyone. You're probably noticing that I am wearing the mask today because I wanted to start off with a little talk on proper mask wearing. Almost everyone is doing a great job of wearing the masks, and we really should all be grateful that we have these nice, clean, medical grade masks available to us every day. We're very lucky. But just wanted to go over a few mask wearing no-nos. Some people bring their mask down over their mouth and, so they feel like they can breathe a little. Well, that's not okay because air is still going in and out of your nose, and that's not a proper way to wear a mask. Likewise, when you wear a face shield, which you should always do when within 6 feet of other people, face shield is very, it should be comfortable, but just to remind you, it's there to protect your eyes, and if you have it up like this, you're not protecting your eyes. why is it important to protect your eyes? And I'm going to just take this off to talk a little bit more. Why is it important to protect your eyes? Well, there is some data that the virus can actually enter through the mucous membranes around your eyes, and some studies have shown that, in a study in China showed that those people hospitalized were less likely to be wearing glasses, that somehow glasses may have had a protective effect on people getting the virus. So it's very important to wear your mask and face shield properly. Some people are wondering, when can I take off the mask? Well, that's a good question too. There's really nothing magic about 6 feet, especially if it's indoors. There is some data that the virus is actually airborne as well as droplet-based, meaning it can hang around in a room, even if you're not actually talking and putting out virus particles. So the best practice recommendation is to only take off your mask if you're in a room by yourself. If you share an office, keep your mask on. Okay, other things to mention. We have changed our screening at the front desk slightly so that if you have seasonal allergies, you have them every year, you're very familiar with your symptoms, you do not get turned away at the front desk. Seasonal allergies, you do not need a COVID test, you can come to work. So please keep that in mind if you're an allergy sufferer. Other general updates, Rochester and New York State continue to do quite well in terms of the prevalence of the virus. We're very lucky. There are around 35 other states with high prevalence, which we call the hot states. And if you do visit one of those states, as you know, you need to have a negative COVID test before you come back to work. Other information, vaccine studies continue to be available in Rochester. And if anyone is interested in finding out more about that, please let me know. I can point you in the right direction. The vaccine groups are trying to recruit people that are higher risk for COVID, and that is anyone working in the nursing home, anyone that is around age 50, persons of color and different ethnic backgrounds. And if you do want to participate in the vaccine studies, the main things that you would have is visits about once a month or so, for which you would be compensated. So you would get something like $50 a visit or something like that for the trial. And very, very worthwhile. These are efficacy trials. The vaccines have already been found to be safe. So this is in whether they work or not. If you're interested, let me know. Otherwise, please make sure and get your flu shot this year. It's very, very important, more important than ever before with the other virus running around. And we should all be thankful that Jewish Senior Life has excellent personal protective equipment, has free available flu vaccine. We're very lucky to be in New York State. Everyone stay healthy.
Good morning, everybody. We're here again with another update. I have a few around operations, adult daycare, and COVID. For the Jewish home occupancy, our long-term care, we're at 97%, budgeted 99%. Transitional care, we're at 75%. That's not where we want to be. We prefer to be in the 80s, high 80s. Referrals are low to moderate, depending upon the day, but we are hopeful that that will turn around in October, and we will see some more volume in referrals. Neurobehavioral is at 92%, which is above budget, so we're doing really well there. Outpatient, as you know, we opened up in June. We're at actual 163 visits a month, and that's 100, budgeted 100, and that's for July. Adult daycare, we did hear some news from Leading Age. We're very excited that we are going to receive some information from the Department of Health around opening. It looks like hopeful that we will open in October. There were some information that we got from Leading Age about the program. It looks like they would have to be COVID tested 2 weeks prior to. We do have to maintain 6-foot distancing. The members have to wear masks as well as the staff and be screened upon entry. So more to come, information on that as once we receive it from the Department of Health. Around other operation update is COVID. Right now we have 0 residents with COVID. We had to do the mass testing that we talked about. I sent out the communication about the new rule that if you have a COVID positive, and we had 1 employee last Monday, you have to do 2 rounds of resident testing. So we did 1 last week on Tuesday, and then we just did 1 yesterday. Last week, all the residents were negative, and this week they're pending, so we will let you know what the results are of that. So hopefully there will be no COVID in the residents, and then we could open up our visitation on October 1st. Another directive that we had that changed was about visitors. So when we do open visitation, the enhanced outdoor visits, every visitor has to produce a COVID negative test 7 days prior to their visit. And I did communicate that with the residents and families last week, as well as all of you. We did make some calls around town at different drugstores and different sites, and I shared that with the families. It does look like it's going to be difficult for them to get a test within 7 days. Really, MCC would probably be the best case for them, and I did share that with them on the call yesterday. Also, I did share about advocating for visitation, making a change to make it easier for the visitors. So hopefully the governor received some messages from our families. And lastly, I did let them know that we would be prepared to do indoor visits, which have to be socially distanced also. So for the cottages, we would do in the community rooms, 7 people total. And then here at the tower, we would do 10 total in the Sand Center for visitation. So more to come on that. And that's all I have for today. Thank you all very much.
All right, we've had another good presentation of what I think is hopefully some very good information for each of you to hear. And in closing, as we're in our Jewish high holidays, I thought I would just talk to all of you about what is a mitzvah. Many of you may have heard this word before. In Jewish law, Jewish religion, there's 613 mitzvahs. And mitzvah means doing a good deed for someone else. Basically, that's the essence of it. So we talked about this at our board meeting the other night, and actually our chair of our board, Margot Weinberg, brought it up about how our employees, all of you, are doing mitzvahs every day. You know, Margot was at the parade that we had last week. She actually was driving the golf cart. She was a grand marshal, and she just came away so blown away and impressed with the caring, the commitment, what she saw from each of you out there during the parade and our residents. It was just really wonderful. And she shared that with all the board. So when you think about a mitzvah, you know, sometimes it's just when each of you come into work and provide, you know, the compassionate care you do, that's really doing a mitzvah. It's doing a good deed for the residents that we're taking care of. But what I wanted to do is just read a few of what I consider mitzvahs that we receive on a fairly regular basis from family members that are recognizing the heroes here on our campus on a regular basis. I don't have enough time to read all of them. The people taping this told me I had to limit the amount of time that I was on this videotape, so I picked out 4 of these to read to you. So the first one is from a family member who has a loved one in Cottage 2, third home, all right? And this is what he said. During my dad's last years, all the staff, cared for him very well and he was happy. Medically, his care was at a high level. In his last days during COVID, the staff was sensitive to our needs and also reacted very quickly to arrange FaceTime and other things so that we could all say goodbye. We are so grateful to all of you. Really great. This is from Gary Fishman. I know Gary. He's the son of one of our residents over at the Summit. And he's talking about Jen Willis. And he says, Jen knows every resident personally. She almost acts as a surrogate daughter in her ability to calmly help my mother all the time with an abundance of patience and concern. Jen is absolutely wonderful. This is for Sharissa, our rec therapist, and it's from a family member. And she says, Sharissa made a difference when she volunteered to help us with a window visit for our mom's 90th birthday on Sunday. We are so grateful to have had this wonderful opportunity. Please thank Sharissa for us. And then the last one that I have here is for Yvonne Buttman. Yvonne is one of our social workers, and it's from a family member. And she said, my wife transitioned from the lodge to the tower and then to Cottage One, all during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yvonne was extremely helpful and reassuring as we worked through these transitions. Although she was in great demand during these times, she always gets us back in a timely gets back to us in a timely fashion and was able to meet our every need throughout the transition. So these are just a few examples. There's many, many more. I'll try to read them occasionally when I'm in front of you. But just, again, thank you to all of you for what you're doing every day for our organization, for our residents.